Hey everybody, this is the 20-gallon tank I keep for my wife, and I just thought we would shoot a little update video on this tank. I did a chemi-clean treatment not too long ago, and I got in there and I rearranged the scape a little bit. I pulled all the plants out even, and I got the plants all rinsed down and cleaned up. Got the tank put back together, and it seems to be ticking over quite nicely. Haven't had any issues or anything, and I will say the back glass seems to be an awfully lot cleaner than it was last time I was in here. So I do have a couple of nearite snails in this tank, and apparently they are earning their keep. I'm looking around for them and I don't see them anywhere. I know there's one shell in the back left corner. You can actually see the reflection in the glass, and it's turned over on its back, so that is a dead one. And it's been in there for quite a long time. That snail shell is actually just an ornament at this point. Oh, well, actually, right next to the snail shell, you can see the reflection. That is a nearite snail that is actually crawling on the back glass. So it is doing its job right now as we look at it. Really wish this angelfish would stop staring directly at us and turn sideways so we could get a little bit of a look at how pretty it is. Let me see if I can throw a little bit of food in there and get it excited. So I honestly have not yet even been down into the fish room this evening. I don't know what we're going to find once we get down there. I don't know if we're going to be having time to get any video shot or anything. But as I said, I wanted to get a little bit of an update video on this tank. Nothing special going on. I just don't shoot very much video of it, so I thought I would while it was still looking pretty and nice and clean. I only see that one snail, so I put 3 of the nearite snails in here originally, and there was 2 last time I was in here, so I don't know where the other one is. But you can see I've now opened the tank up much more so the fish are able to actually swim through these rocks. The water is able to flow through them. The way it was before, that was all so congested together that all the mulm and everything just collected underneath of there, and the tank got really grungy down on the bottom. I had growth all over the plants, and I had Java moss in there, and of course Java moss grows all over everything, and if you've got a tank that looks kind of rough to begin with and then you let Java moss grow over everything, it gives it very much of a swampy kind of look, and that's the way it was prior to me getting in here and doing a little bit of work to clean it up. I really like those bloodfin tetras too. I have some of those in my tank downstairs, and they swim around in that nice tight schooling fashion down in that tank too. In fact, they've been demonstrating behavior that I believe is spawning behavior. It looks like individuals keep pairing off and darting around the tank together. And if that's the case, we might have some bloodfin tetrafry in my tank downstairs after a little while. That'll be exciting. I'm really happy with the way this angelfish turned out too. I think it looks great in this tank. Now that is a 20-gallon tank, so despite the size of that angelfish, it's not really as big as it looks. The body of it is fairly small, and even as long and flowing as those fins are, you can see that in this 20-gallon tank, there's no real issues with it dragging on the bottom. Even with the plants and the rocks and everything in here, that fish has plenty of room to swim around. You don't want to put angelfish in a tank that is going to cause its fins to drag on the ground, or you don't want them to be forced to be up at the surface either. So if you've got, say, a 20 long that's much shallower, and I mean shallow as far as top to bottom, not, front to back. But if you've only got, 10 inches of water and the fish is sort of forced to swim around where its fins are trailing along, or it's forced to kind of stay up off the ground, which forces its dorsal fin to stay up near the surface and get exposed to, atmospheric air, that can be bad for them over time too. But you definitely don't want to have your angelfish have its fins dragging around on the ground. It wears them down, it opens them up for infection, and if that's the case, then it's a pretty good indication that you've just got them in a tank that's too small for them. So again, despite this fish's size, this 20-gallon tank is plenty big enough for it. And if you look really closely at its fins, you can see all the way at the very, very end of it, it's got all of those little filaments. You can see at the very tip of its caudal fin, maybe. See if we can come over this way a little bit. If you look at the very tip of its caudal fin, you can see all those little trailing filaments hanging off of it too. So that is a clear indication that none of the other fish in the tank are nipping at its fins. Most angelfish, or at least a lot of angelfish, will develop those filaments off the tail fins, off of the pectoral fins. If you heard that splash, that was my Cory swimming up and gulping air off the surface. She is currently my oldest fish. Got her with a weird genetic abnormality too. Her tail is all sort of crooked and twisted, and the older she gets, the weirder it grows. So she swims kind of funny, but she's had that for, I don't know, I guess 7 or 8 years now we've had her. Got her way back when we first started keeping fish. And so again, she's now my oldest fish that I've still currently got. But back to the angelfish, you will see those filaments. Those, like, you can think of them as streamers that sort of flow behind the fins, almost like hair-like. If they're going to get nipped by anything that's in the tank, those are going to be the first things to go. So when people ask me about, the black skirt tetras or the skirt tetras fin nippers, that's a pretty good, positive indication right there that they are not fin nippers, or those little filaments. I thought they were going to swim up and nip the fins right as I was talking about it, but when I actually looked, it was only on camera that looked that way. They actually weren't in front of the fish. They were several inches away from it, but it did look on camera like it was ready to swim up and nip that fin there. But anyway, that's a pretty good indication that the skirt tetras are not fin nippers. The very fact that you can see all of those very long flowing fins with the filaments in a tank with a small school of the black skirt tetras and the bloodfin tetras as well. None of them seem to be bothering the angelfish or nipping at its fins either. So there you go, just a little bit of a look, nothing specific, as I said, just a video of my wife's tank here. I know a lot of people like this tank, but I don't get in here very often to shoot video of it, so I thought I would while the door was open. I was walking past and saw it. So now it is off to the fish room, and we will see what is going on down there. So make sure you're subscribed, and you won't miss that or anything else I've got coming up, because you never know what it's going to be with me. So thanks for watching this one, and I will see you real soon on the next one.